If you don't know how Shenzhen is influencing the future of hi-fi, maybe I can explain it a bit here before going on. Shenzhen is a rather young city in China. It is a technological capital of the country. Many famous Chinese brands like Huawei, Xiaomi, etc. started there. They are investing, researching, and creating new technologies there. And one of the sectors that the country and the city is investing in is audio, video, and hi-fi. Brands like FiiO, SMSL, FiiO, Hiby, Moondrop, Shenling, etc. all have headquarters there. It is the center of the universe for all the new and modern hi-fi technologies in the world. So, even though China and Asia have a lot of hi-fi festivals, this is maybe even the biggest and most important one. And previous year and this year they have finally started a little bit to open to the West, as this is the 19th edition of the festival. But just recently at their presentations they started to add slides in English and Chinese. And there are a couple of people now at the booths that you can speak English with to demonstrate you the products. They are certainly opening themselves more towards international audience, as the title of this convention says. And honestly, this helped me a lot, as otherwise I would be lost in the sea of brands, products and presentations. So I came to Shenzhen, I immersed myself into all the future and the present of Asian hi-fi, and was just mind blown by how it's organized and how many presenters there are there. It's no small feat to do this, and yet they did so graciously. If by next year you want to visit a hi-fi convention, this might be the one for you, especially if you're big into a portable hi-fi. I will try to separate this video into two categories: all the new things that are coming and all the things I listened to the festivals that I really like. Now, I listened to a lot of products at the conference, and just speaking about everything I heard would be impossible. So I will just focus on what I think was the most interesting to me. First presenters were FiiO, and they had a really lengthy and great presentation, mostly by saying that they will have 3 brands under the FiiO moniker. A FiiO targeting an audiophile focusing on sound quality above all. A Snowski targeting younger, hip audience with wanting like a great design, looks and emphasis on individuality. And Jade Audio targeting general consumers who like audio. To me, something I'm most looking forward to is the FiiO R2R Tube DAC. This is a continuation of their success with K15 and K17 with that retro style devices. I personally have no opinion there. I think they are interesting but far from being my favorites. They said that R2R is getting more and more recognized by market, and that is a sign of a quality DAC. Also, they said that they will use specifically vacuum tubes, a JJ Electronic E88CC to complement their 24-bit R2R architecture. They even emphasized that the DAC will be on a warmer spectrum, but I guess that is standard with tubes. You will have a bunch of inputs and outputs like optical, coaxial, USB, etc. And you will have also something really cool. You will also have an analog VU meters, not the digital ones. It will have a 46 watts linear power supply. To summarize, this will be an awesome device, and not many like this exist on the market. A tube R2R DAC is not a common sight, and with a price of $350, it's sure to create a shockwave around the market. The next thing is FiiO DM13 CD players. This will be diminutive portable CD players. It seems that the craze for CDs is back, and I love that. As I am a huge fan of CD players. When I was a kid, I had my own personal transportable CD player that I used to go to sleep with, so this warms my heart. It will have a CD servo, USB DAC, R2R module, Bluetooth and independent MCU. So yeah, another R2R DAC for FiiO inside this CD player. We will be able to do UAC decoding, even CD ripping to USB. It will have an optical and coaxial and again a lot of inputs. Surprise at the end is that it will have aptX lossless transmission, which I think is the future, as it brings Bluetooth closer to audiophiles. You will also have an EQ on this device to change bass and treble, and it will only cost $280. That's amazing if you ask me. Next, they had this kind of dramatic intro for their new product, a flagship FiiO M27. It is the best of all their DABs combined into a single device. It honestly looks amazing. It can be used as a portable and a desktop variation. You can have all the balanced inputs and also coaxial and optical. It has an internal storage and expandable battery. With internal storage read speeds about 920 megabytes per second and micro SD about 19 megabytes per second. That's super nice. It will use the new Snapdragon 778G and will feature Android 13 with 8 gigs of RAM. And yet, again, lossless aptX will be present. We even had a few speech guests appearance from Qualcomm boss telling us all about how great that transmission module is. As far as DAC goes, of course, it's a top-of-the-line ESS DAC with two 1939S Pro, so the highest and the newest. It will have 10,000 microwatts of output power and 9,200 mAh replaceable battery. Really, really big battery. So all the amazingness combined will be released in October and price has not yet been decided. Next is SMSL, and the first thing they showed was a clock generator. I don't know how excited I should be for that, as a clock generator is an essential part of every DAC. Now having that as a standalone product device called G1 is such a niche, futuristic concept for me. They explained a lot of stuff about special chip they used called OCXO, which is the best clock chip in the world, about phenomenal thermal insulation design they created especially for this device and how it can easily fit every system, etc. To me, this is something personally I have no experience with, so is this an exciting device? I guess, but if I don't have a chance to test it and see how it actually improves the sound, I don't know what more to say. It's a device which only works as an external clock. But the price was unexpected, to be honest. In my opinion, a bit high. It is around $530, which means that this device is truly aimed only at a very niche audience. But the next thing is actually a super cool thing. It's a new flagship DAC in their more premium lineup of devices, a VMV D3 Pro DAC. And the same masterful and the best clock in the world is also inside this DAC, that OXCO. It is supposed to be their top-of-the-line DAC. It is a continuation of VMV D2R DAC using a very interesting chipset called BD34302. Personally, I never heard about it and never listened to any device with those DACs inside. They praised it as having a phenomenal linear response and measurements. And this DAC rivaled the AKMs and the ESS of the world, who knows. But SML seems like they will. It has a top-of-the-line everything. 32 bits, 768 kHz, DSD 512, it will support LDAC, aptX, etc. It will have balanced ICBU, coaxial and optical, so everything top of the line. Now, this is an interesting one. VMV already has a D3 DAC, but this new device seems more in the vein of D2R rather than D3, even though it is called D3 Pro DAC. The regular D3 was some ultimate R2R DAC that costs $3,500, so way beyond my budget to buy. But the great thing is that this one will be far more reasonable at $1,300. But they did not stop with that one DAC. We now have D200 DAC, which is something I honestly expected sooner or later. They had a super success with the PL200 CD player, so they now need something modern in that form factor DAC to complement that purchase both sonically and aesthetically. Now, there's a killer trio of PL200 CD player, D200 DAC, and PA200 amp. It is also using those ROM DACs and is fully packed with MQAC decoding, optical, coaxial, balanced. They also have a clock-in for external clock, the one we spoke previously. They explained all the benefits as this was a Chinese show. I did not kind of understand everything they were speaking, but I note that it will also have LDAC, aptX, HD, etc. and many other inputs and outputs. This is a very compact and small DAC that I really like aesthetically, and it comes with a price tag of $320. They also touched briefly that they are really expanding their CD player catalog from cheap like PL100 to new PL200 2025, which will arrive, and the flagship T2 CD player. There are 6 new CD players in the pipeline for SMSL, and also 4 new products on the horizon that are going to be eventually released. Those are the VMV D1 Pro DAC, D3 Pro DAC, D2R DAC, and P2 amplifier. All of them are coming from their VMV product lineup. As I'm not such a huge headphone guy, but I'm slowly going in that direction, we had presentations from Dunu, Hiby, Moondrop and Softeares. It is obvious that this is a predominantly a headphone show, as all these companies brought their A game here. Their presentations were awesome, full of energy and new gear, and great presentations all around. Project CA-JP by Hiby was interesting in-ear headphones. They said how they searched deep and wide for inspiration from Super Nintendo to Ryuji Sakamoto music and art to Ghibli masterman Miyazaki. They used F-Audio experience and dynamic drivers to bring 5 key things: sound quality, balance, soundstage, dynamics, and musicality. Its main purpose was that it will fit excellently for listening to a wide variety of music, but mostly they are specializing in J-pop, K-pop, and I guess C-pop, as it brings the best results there. It sounds like really something built with a lot of passion to it, and with a great purpose that it should accommodate the only master in the universe, which is the music. It will cost $280. I think it's a really reasonable price. I love how Hiby just pushes that it uses people from industry, like from the musical industry, to harvest their knowledge to build their products, like Con Lee, for example. Oh, and if you love colors and youthful energy, something like W4 might just be for you. A small, pretty headphone amplifier looks like something that might talk to the youth of hi-fi, and hopefully so, as it's also a really powerful device. I will talk a little bit more in a later part of this video. But it has a lot of power, it is a portable, and it costs just $100. It should complement its flagship brother, the R6 Pro 2, which is a top of the line DAP from them. Now, my biggest surprise was Dunu presentation with their 2 products, the Concept R and the Concept T. And there were a small surprise with the Concept V. Concept R is a really old school looking CD player. It even comes with the curated CDs with selected cuts to test your device. It looks really nice, but as I said, most of the presentation was in Chinese, so I could not understand the specs super well. But it looks awesome, really it looks awesome. But it looks like something out of a production studio, and it's portable and it seems to have a nice build quality and internals. But something I managed to listen to, and it was super great, was Concept T, the new magnesium headphones by Dunu. They look incredible and they sound as great as well. Wish only I knew more to say about it, but they spent a lot of time talking about the research that went into designing and creating these headphones. Moondrop presented 2 new headphones, Para 2 and Laputa. Interesting thing about Para 2 is that it uses a PCB diaphragm fixing plate that is 4 times more durable and has 4 times more heat dispersion, but also remaining very lightweight and durable. It comes with an amazing 100mm planar driver and 500 nanometers thin diaphragm, gold-edged TBT, FAA, and all of those for only $290. Now, Laputa is their concept headphones that represent a flagship for Moondrop. It represents the best the company can offer for $700. I will show on screen all the specs so you can admire its craftsmanship and everything else, But as I said, it's a Chinese show and I don't know how much I truly understood everything, but maybe you will. Also spoke very interestingly about adding AI into their very simple and intuitive software to drive progress and for better experience, especially for EQ tuning. One more thing, and I also listened to this at the show, Moondrop did a collaboration with SMSL on DHA15. It is an interesting device that brings an ultra powerful DAC with headphones amplification and only at the $420. And the last one is Softeares. Softeares had throughout the entire show one of their products hidden under a veil. A new product, a mysterious product. And what I really loved about their presentation was how much they explained about the entire process of building shells and designs for their earphones. I love it. It shows how much craftsmanship that goes with every earphone. I know they present a lot of new earphones, but to me, the most interesting is Softeares X. It's a beautifully packaged, designed and engineered earphone. Really, really recommend it.